Welcome to the Gym and Tonic Podcast. I'm your host, Shanae Kunsa from Sk Bodyworks, and this is a space where self-development meets holistic health. This podcast will help you create transformation from the inside out, blending all things mindset, healing, habits, energetics, spirituality, health, fitness, and nutrition. And through these episodes, I'm going to help you activate your highest self and create a life that feels as good as it looks, mixed in with some laughs, a few F-bombs, and a whole lot of truths that your soul has been craving to help you evolve, expand, and align with your highest potential. So let's dive in and step into your next evolution. Hello and welcome back to the Gym and Tonic podcast. I am definitely feeling like we're going to need an update or a name change on the podcast, because I feel like if you've been following along, you would know that I have stepped away from personal training and the fitness side of things in my business, and I guess the gym as a whole kind of thing. So I feel like the name is not as aligned with the current mission and I guess the work that my soul has been calling me to go deeper on. So I'm going to have to start brainstorming and thinking of some names for a new podcast name. But anyways, I did not plan to start this episode off like that. It just popped into my head and there we went on a little bit of a tangent. But I hope all of you amazing souls had the most incredible weekend. It's been beautiful to see the sunshine, and I cannot wait for this warmer weather to continue because I'm definitely a summer gal. Okay, so today's podcast episode, I am sharing with you 29 lessons at 29 years old, because last Thursday, which was the 11th of September, I'm a Virgo gal, last Thursday marked 29 laps around the sun for me. So to celebrate this, I wanted to share 29 truths and lessons that I've learned in my 29 years of existence. Or I guess you could say 28 years, because I'm only just entering 29. Didn't really think about that, but anyways, let's go with that. And these are essentially pieces of wisdom that have shaped me, stretched me, and peeled the layers of myself back and have walked me back home to myself. And the deeper that I've gone within, the more that I've realized that, life isn't about chasing or forcing the future or outcomes, and it's about embodying it now. And if you've listened to the podcast before, or you're a client of mine, or you're in my community, you would probably have heard me say before that you need to be to become. You need to be that version of yourself to become her. And that is exactly what I mean by embodying it now. Embodiment. And the more that I've done the inner work and the more that I've committed to this work, the more alive, present, and grounded I feel in this life and in my day-to-day life. And honestly, I have a deep knowing that this next year ahead and 29 is going to be my best year yet. And I wish the same for you as a listener of this podcast right now. And I hope these lessons really inspire you to accelerate your growth, I guess quicker than what I have done myself. And also, I feel like it's going to be the best year yet. And it's not just because of what's ahead. It's because of who I've become and who I continue becoming. Because as you'll hear in the lesson, one of the lessons that I share, it's not about getting there. Anyways, I'm not going to dive into that because I'm going to go off on a rampage. I'm going to dive into it when we get to it. I'm going to share these 29 truths and lessons, and make sure that you stick around until the end, because I have saved the most potent one for last. And I also have a super special offer and huge discount for you at the end of today's episode. And to give you an idea, it is 77% off. So make sure you stick around to the end. All right, let's dive in. So I'm going to share these 29 truths and lessons, and I'm going to expand on each one as we go through them to see I guess to give you some insight into what these lessons have taught me and how, I guess, the insight behind them and how I've, embodied these lessons to get to where I am now. So, number one, the lessons and challenges that you face aren't an obstacle. They are a portal into a more evolved version of you. If you see it as an opportunity for growth. You need to see those obstacles, challenges, failures, feedback, whatever you want to call it, as feedback and data that something isn't working and something needs to change in order to get a different result. You need to extract the lesson from the feedback, obstacle, whatever you want to call it, and implement it so that you can get a different result and use it as an invitation to grow. Right? And I feel like this one took me a little while to really learn, because I feel like life can get so busy going through the motions and doing, all the things that we just keep taking the same approach. But the truth is that same approach keeps getting us the same outcome. And it's like, the saying that goes, nothing changes if nothing changes. If you want a different result, you need to take a different approach to get a different outcome. So use the challenges that you are facing in your life right now as an invitation and opportunity for growth. Adopt a growth mindset, because the more that you look at these as hardships, as failures, as things that are, setting you back, the more that it's going to stunt your growth. The more that you can lean into these challenges, the more that you will support your vision for growth. So that is lesson number one. Number two, your subconscious mind is what's driving your entire life. And if you're a one-on-one mindset method client of mine, you would know this. If you follow along on socials and read my content and you're a part of my community, you would hear me talking about this all the time. Your subconscious mind is driving your entire life. And if you don't reprogram it, as the famous I actually don't know how to say his last name. I think it's Carl Jung once said, if you don't bring the unconscious conscious, it will control your life and you will call it fate. That is because your subconscious mind is literally driving the vehicle. Like, think of it like driving a car, and like the road is like your life, like your journey in this life, right? Your subconscious mind is the one that's sitting in the driver's seat driving. Your conscious mind is in the passenger seat, and it only has like 4% of a say in the direction it goes and the habits it makes, the behaviors it engages in, its automatic programs, its beliefs, all of the things, right? So this is a lot about, I guess, the work that I do within my mindset coaching space, mindset method. And when you work on your subconscious mind and reprogram your mind, rewire your brain, same thing, you will create permanent changes and transformation, because like I always say, your subconscious mind drives 96% of your life. So if you don't currently have the results in your life that you desire, that is a sign that your subconscious mind is not aligned with the vision that you have for yourself. And it's a thing again and again that's causing you to sabotage. So that's lesson number 2. Lesson number 3. The problems that we face in life cannot be solved by the same level of thinking that created them. I'm going to say that one again. The problems that we face in life cannot be solved by the same level of thinking that created them. That is really about, I guess, it's like within our comfort zone. It's like, it's comfortable. But like I was saying before, same action equals same result. So in order to get a different result, you need to think in a different way. You need to look at it from a new perspective. You need to shift your mindset. You need to create a new belief that supports the vision that you have for yourself. So that is number 3. Number 4, fulfillment comes from alignment, not achievement. And I'm not going to dive too much into this one because I feel like this sort of correlates with another lesson that I'm going to share with you soon. But alignment to me truly means like following what lights you up, what you enjoy, and what sets your soul on fire. To me, that is alignment. Engaging in the things that bring you joy and that light you up it's like when you know your body's like, this is a yes or a fuck yes. That's the shit that's going to bring you into alignment, whether it's in relationships, career, business, life, your whatever journey it is in life. Even I guess just like fun and recreation, like all of those things, doing the things that you actually enjoy and that light you up. To me, that is alignment. And when you are in alignment, that is when the universe supports you and has your back. And like when you're in alignment, things just flow with so much more ease and flow and abundance, as opposed to fighting that alignment. When you're not in alignment, there's resistance, there's I guess lack of enjoyment, there's I guess all of the things that we don't like. So yeah, it's not an achievement that's going to bring you fulfillment. It is alignment, and fulfillment comes from alignment, aligning with your soul's calling, whatever that is in whatever area of life, right? Number 5, slowing down speeds you up. Boy, oh boy, this took a fucking long time for me to realize this one. And it's something that I'm still embodying. It's not perfect, but I'm actively working on it and have created so much change around. But slowing down truly does speed you up. Because when you slow down, you can literally connect back to your intuition. You can hear the whispers of your soul. You can actually enjoy the process, and it actually speeds you up. It makes you more productive. It makes you more intentional. It makes you more easier to prioritize the things that actually matter to you and create the results that you desire. Because when you're going so fast, you're likely probably burnt out, exhausted, no energy, disconnected from yourself, and that doesn't create the results that you desire. So slowing down truly does speed you up. Number 6, success without presence feels empty. And presence holds so much power. And again, this is something that I am embodying presence with everything that I do. Wait, let me reframe that. I am actively, consciously trying to embody presence with everything I do. I used to walk around like a zombie, not present at all, burnt out, disconnected, exhausted, no energy, not present, the complete opposite of it, pretty much. But I realized, what is it all for if you can't actually sit in it and fucking enjoy it? Whether that is home life, motherhood, in work or business, what is it all for if you can't enjoy it? Success, in whatever that means to you, without presence isn't success in my eyes. And everyone's going to have a different version of success. But to me, success and peace coexist. And that presence holds so much power. It allows you to connect with the wisdom of your body and your soul to create the life that you actually want with intention. And it allows you to just connect to your power. So that's number 6. Number 7, your intuition gets louder the more you trust it and the more you act on it. And this one also took me a little while to realize, because I was so disconnected from my intuition for so long leading up to and during extreme burnout back in 2023. Because when you're in survival mode, there is no energy for creation. You are disconnected from your intuition. And like I said, that was really a lesson that I took from burnout. So thank you, burnout, for the lesson. It's allowed me to, and as hard as that time was in my period of life, it's probably the hardest thing that I've experienced. I'm grateful for that experience as a whole, because it's brought me to where I am and has allowed for the growth that I've experienced since hitting burnout. There's been so much that's happened since I hit burnout, and so much that I can never go back to living the way that I used to. So that is number 7. And also I wanted to highlight that the more that you trust it and act on it as well. So not only when you're disconnected from yourself, you don't hear your intuition, but also the more that you trust that inner voice, your internal guidance system, and the more that you actually act on those intuitive nudges that you get and those downloads and those, ping of ideas and the inspiration that comes out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, this feels like a really good idea, or this feels like aligned, or this seems like a really good idea, but I have no logical knowledge of like why. But following it, trusting it, and acting on it is going to allow you to strengthen your intuition. And honestly, like I was talking about alignment before, I think intuition leads us to alignment, which then leads us to fulfillment. So that's number 7. And actually 7 is one of my favorite numbers. So love that. Number 8, fear is usually a sign that you are expanding, not failing. Because the fears that you don't face become your limits. Because we are the ones that place the ceilings on our potential. The ceilings that we put on ourselves usually is not from anyone else other than ourselves, and what we believe we are possible of, what we believe we are capable of, and what we are able to actually follow through with, even in the presence of fear. Because the truth is, you need to feel the fear and do it anyway, because even for like the most successful people in the world who have achieved, that's a new word, achieved like insane things, they still have fear. But the difference between, a mediocre life and, I guess huge success and whatever that looks like for you is they acted even when fear was present. They felt the fear, leaned into it, and did the thing anyway. And what was on the other side of that was growth, was lessons, was using those lessons as opportunity for more growth. So fear is always going to be present. It is never not going to be present, because that saying, every new level comes with a new devil. Even as we grow, up level, expand, and become these more expansive versions of ourselves, we still have fear. Like fear is still always going to be present, but you need to use it and let it guide you. Let it guide your journey. Because yes, fear can be present when maybe you're not expanding, but it is also very loud when you are expanding, because you're doing things that are outside of your comfort zone. If you were to think of your comfort zone as a circle, it's like outside of that circle is the thing that you're, maybe desiring to do, that you're wanting to do. And it's like, it's fucking scary. So you're going to feel the fear more than someone who's probably staying in their comfort zone, playing it safe, right? So that's number 8. Number 9, I used to believe that I didn't have time. This is a big one. Until I realized time was never the actual fucking problem. It was my mindset shaping how I experienced time. So in other words, in simple terms, relating back to lesson, whatever it was, number 2, I think it was, my subconscious programming was dictating my life. If you have a belief of something, that belief is in the driver's seat of the car, driving on the road. And my belief was I didn't have time. So the driver's seat was driving my life in running off that program, that I didn't have time. That was the engine. So what that created for me is perception is projection. That projected out into my world all of these things to allow me to live by that belief. So like experiences, opportunities, events, all of the things that created this reality, because our thoughts directly create our reality. If you haven't listened to my last solo episode, so episode number 25, around like how your self-talk creates your entire reality, go back and listen to it, because there is gold in that episode around, I expand deeper on that, because our thoughts create our reality. Our thoughts are energy. Everything is energy. And when we think something, it literally has the impact to create and determine our reality. And a thought becomes a belief when it's thought over and over and over again. And then it becomes a belief ingrained into your subconscious mind, because those neural networks through repetition have gotten so strong that that is the automatic program that your life runs off. And I created this belief from thinking over years and years that I didn't have enough time. I don't have time. I don't have time to do the things that I desire to do. I don't have time for me. I don't have time for X, Y, Z, whatever it is. And for as long as I believed that, that created and dictated my reality. One where I lived in busy fucking chaos. So this is a belief that I in like all honestly haven't completely overcome and detangled, but I have made leaps and bounds with it. And like I am seeing that I do have time. And you know what? The only thing that we actually have is time. Like it is really the actual only thing that we have right now in this moment. It's time. So if you have a belief right now that you don't have time, I want you to reframe it. Every time you catch yourself saying to yourself, I don't have time, reframe it. Replace it with a better serving thought so that you can create new neural networks and new beliefs in your subconscious mind. I'm going to move on to the next one because I've really dived into a rabbit hole with that one. I could go all day. Number 10, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of questions you ask yourself. Now, I do also believe alongside this, sometimes you do need a coach or someone who can mirror your blind spots to you and ask the questions that you can't see to reflect things back to you. And I truly believe that this lesson has taught me so much, because often and like prior to burnout, I was so busy and stressed and overwhelmed and all of the things that I didn't even have time to think about asking myself questions. Like I was not doing anything for me, let alone asking myself powerful questions. So I do believe that sometimes, and I'm going to come to this lesson a little bit later on as well, sometimes you do need someone to reflect these questions back to you and act as a mirror to, reflect these blind spots back to you. Because even as a coach, coaches need coaches. And I truly believe like just reflecting on my own journey, I'm making up my own words today, reflecting on my own journey, having a coach and someone in my corner is the very thing that's expanded me time and time again into my next level. Further, more accelerated and faster than I ever would have done myself. So that's number 10. 11. Healing happens in layers, not all at once. And I truly believe that healing also isn't like a one and done kind of thing. I used to view it as like a destination, like reaching that perfectly healed and whole version of myself. But the truth is, healing is the vehicle, like it's the journey that leads us to the destination. We need to stop looking at it as like, when I get here, then I'll be happy, I'll be whole, I'll be healed, I'll be insert X, Y, Z, right? You need to find that satisfaction and joy and healing within the journey and allow yourself to enjoy that, because when you do the work on yourself, that is what's going to lead you to the destination. Not, I don't have time now, I'll do that when I get to X, because you are not going to get to X without doing the internal work, because your internal world is a mirror which mirrors your external world. So the results you see in your external world right now are because of how you are living internally. In terms of your beliefs, your subconscious mind, how you're speaking to yourself, how you're showing up, your habits, your choices, all of the things. So that's number 11. Number 12. Before I dive on to number 12, I want to expand a little bit more on number 11 about like healing happening in layers, because I feel like as we grow on our journey and unlock more of our infinite potential from within, we, reach a new level and a new, like, you could almost call it like homeostasis or baseline. And then it's like we're cruising along at that new level. And then, like life, like literally like life is like school. Like the lessons that we go through always lead us to more evolved and expansive versions of ourselves. So healing isn't something that you do once and then never again. I mean, some people do, but they aren't the ones that get the results that they desire to see and feel fulfilled, happy, and whole. Healing is something that we do and come back to again and again and again and again. And it shouldn't be looked as something as, once I do it, then I'm perfectly whole and healed and all the work is done. It's like, no, this is why we are on this earth, to grow and evolve and become more expansive and higher versions of ourselves. So yeah, the work never stops, but in a positive way. So number 12, what you resist persists. So lean into it with openness, courage, and curiosity, because growth isn't always easy, but it's always, almost without a doubt, it's almost always easier than staying the same. And you get to be the one who makes that choice, because everything is a choice and you have complete control and power over your choices. I know it's not always easy, but you have complete control and power. And what you resist will keep persisting, because it's a lesson that you haven't learned and integrated yet. So it's going to come back again and again until you do anyway. So you may as well look at it with openness, courage, and curiosity, and, get curious. What can I learn from this thing that I'm feeling a lot of resistance around right now? Again, back to the first lesson. Can I use it as an opportunity or invitation for growth? Number 13, trying to control everything only hides what really needs your attention, because control is an illusion and it's often masking something deeper. And there is immense power in letting go, surrendering, and trusting the universe. And honestly, this is one that I've struggled with for a very long time, and I've come leaps and bounds with it in some areas of my life, and I'm still working on it in other areas of my life. But control is literally only an illusion. It makes you feel like you have control of things, but it's often masking something deeper. And that's where the work that I do with, mindset, reprogramming your subconscious mind with my one-on-one mindset method clients, this is where this work comes in. Because we do the deep inner work, which allows for deep, profound transformation and results. Because like I said before, until you work on your subconscious mind, because that controls 96% of our life, it's in the driver's seat, until you work on that, you're going to keep circling around and around and around. Whatever it is that you're trying to focus on right now, whether it's habits that align with your goals, whether it's your health, whether it's a relationship, whether it's your personal growth and your self-development journey or spirituality or whatever it might be, unless you work on your subconscious mind, you will keep getting the same results. Because if you're not getting the results you desire right now, like I said before, it is a sign that your subconscious is not aligned with the vision that you have for yourself. So that's number 13. Number 14, everything you desire already exists inside of you, because your body already holds infinite wisdom, and you hold all of the resources and potential within you already. You need to learn to listen to it. And I actually had a coaching call with a client last week, and at the end of the coaching call, I'd asked her, like, what's your biggest takeaway from our coaching call today? And she's like, oh my God, that I actually hold the answers. Like, you've helped me uncover what those answers are. But she's like, I didn't realize she would always outsource her power to everyone and everything around her. But I am telling you right now that you hold everything you need for your soul's evolution within you right now. And as a coach, I help you unlock that. I help you unlock your divine potential. So that is number 14. Number 15, change feels uncomfortable until it doesn't anymore. And that, my friend, is fucking growth. learning to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Like I said before, imagine your comfort zone as a circle. The more you challenge yourself to get outside of that circle, outside of your comfort zone, outside of no longer playing small, like quitting playing small and leaning into, like I said before, that fear, letting that fear guide us, the more that you're going to grow. Because the more you do that, then your comfort zone, that circle expands, it becomes bigger. And that's growth. And then again, you get outside your comfort zone, that circle gets bigger again, and you grow. And that is a never-ending process of your evolution in this lifetime. So just know that especially when you're trying to first change something, whatever it might be, it is always going to feel uncomfortable. Even like I'm going to give you an example of a client that I'm working with at the moment. She has really struggled with, I guess, like time management. And she has I guess we'll say a habit of scrolling on her phone. And she would often wake up, first thing she did was scroll on her phone, and then like hours would pass by, especially on a weekend. She didn't have as much time to do this during the week with work, but especially on the weekend, hours would pass by and she has like looked at the clock and she's like, fuck, it's already whatever time and I've got nothing done because I've been sitting here laying in bed scrolling. And it didn't align with how she desired to feel. It didn't align with any of her goals, really. So, and this was something that she did for quite some time. So by her changing this, it felt uncomfortable because was her automatic program. It is what she was used to doing every day. So it took conscious effort and intention to not scroll on her phone. And yes, we implemented so many things around this to make it as easy as possible for her to create the change. And we have created the change, and there's been huge ripple effects as a result of it. And obviously we've done mindset work on it and aligned her subconscious with not only this, but also all of the other things that we're working on, which has created huge transformation in her life. But it felt uncomfortable for her. But the more times she did the thing that she said she wanted to do and leaned into that growth, the more that it got comfortable, and it then through repetition has become her new normal. And it's that new neural pathway or new automatic program per se. So change feels comfortable until it doesn't anymore. I want you to remember that next time you do something that feels fucking uncomfortable. Just like going to the gym. The first time you pick up a dumbbell and do a bicep curl, it feels fucking uncomfortable. It's like, have I got the right technique? Who's watching me? What am I doing? Am I doing this right? Is this the right weight? Am I doing enough reps? It feels uncomfortable, right? But the more times you pick up that dumbbell and do the reps, the more comfortable it becomes. And eventually you don't even need to think about it anymore because it just becomes second nature to you. So that's number 15. Number 16. And this is one that I said I was going to come back to before, but self-investment is the one asset that never depreciates. And I will stand by that for the rest of my life. The more that you invest in who you are becoming, the wealthier or richer your life becomes. And I don't mean just in terms of abundance and finances. I mean wealthier and richer in every single way of happiness, of joy, of connection, of relationships, of alignment, of all of the things. When you invest in yourself, and yes, like I said before, fear is always going to be present, but you need to feel the fear, lean into that and do it anyway. And even using one of my clients as an example, I remember when we first started together, we've just finished up our 3-month coaching journey. But when we first started together, she literally, we had our free initial coaching call and she was like, oh my God, this sounds exactly like what I need. I'm very hopeful after speaking to you. She was struggling with, I'm not going to go too much into it, but there was a lot that she had going on, and she literally almost backdoored it. Before our first coaching call, even after she had paid, she almost got cold feet, and that inner voice inside her head almost talked her out of it. But she's so glad that she leaned into that courage and fear and did it anyway and invested in this journey on herself, because it has led her to where she is today, a reality that she never thought was possible for her. And that is truly the work and the insane results that I've been getting with my clients. We literally co-create a life that you want and desire to live, not the one that you are circling around in, feeling stuck, unfulfilled, and not in alignment. So self-investment is an asset that never depreciates. You are your biggest asset. And when you invest in yourself, that growth is just, I have no words. Growth is the thing that leads you to so much growth. I literally just went around in a circle then, but like reflecting on my own journey, every time that I've invested in myself, and like even one time when I invested $8,000 with a mentor for 3 months, it scared the fuck out of me. I was like, and this mentor was on the other side of the world, and I was like, oh my God, like what happens if she takes my money and runs away? Like there was all of these fears that came up, and it's like, I can't afford this. All of the things, but I made it work. I did it. I leaned into that fear and had the courage and did it anyway. And I am so fucking glad I did, because it accelerated my growth. I learned so much from it, and it was, something that I'm going to stand by for the rest of my life. Okay, number 17. Life changes when you have intentionality and the right energy behind your actions. One of my words, well, I actually had 2 words for 2025 at the beginning of the year. I always set normally 1 word, but this year it was 2 because I couldn't decide. I always set a word that kind of like sets the theme for the year. And even if you want to learn more about this and how this looks like for me, in my, I think it might have been in my January challenge on the podcast. I think it might have been called like, what do you want to embody for 2025 or something like that. I talk more about this, but my words were intention and flow. And honestly, by setting an intention, you put the energy out to the universe, and like in hindsight and reflecting back every time I've done this, like intention is so fucking powerful. So not only in that, but when you have the intention and the right energy behind your actions, that is when things expedite and allow you to get to whatever your intention is. And when you have the right energy behind things, I feel like that really ties in with alignment. Like that's when things flow, when you feel ease, when abundance arrives, all those sorts of things. Because when you have the wrong energy behind something, because you're doing it because you have to, because you should, because so-and-so said so, or because someone else is going to be disappointed in me if I don't do this, or I'm a people pleaser and I'm going to be really hard on myself if I don't do this and please someone else, but I don't really care about my internal happiness. If that's the energy that you're moving from through life, you're not going to get the results that you desire. You need to move with the right energy and intention behind your actions, and really, I guess, that aligned action. Number 18, what you appreciate appreciates. So being grateful for what's already in front of you and what you already have will allow you to attract more of it. Gratitude is a magnet and the frequency for abundance. You cannot manifest from a state of lack. When you're not grateful for what you already have and what's in front of you, you are not going to receive more of it. You're not going to open yourself up to receiving abundance. But when you are truly grateful, that is when a mirror, your internal world reflects your external world. If you are feeling lack and you are not grateful for what you already have, that is going to mirror out into your reality, into your external world. If you feel a lack of money, but you actually have money, whatever that amount is, even if it's enough to just get you through your expenses for the week, if you already sorry, I just lost my train of thought there. If you already have money in your bank account and you're feeling a lack of it and focusing on what you don't have, and you're feeling this scarcity mindset, your internal world is mirrored to external world. So it's going to reflect more of this back to you. So it's going to give you situations, experiences, people, expenses that reflect that lack or scarcity because you're not grateful for what you already have. So what you appreciate appreciates. And honestly, life shifts when you start being grateful for the small shit, because it truly is like the small shit that makes life truly worth living it. Yeah, I was going to say something else, but I am not going to dive into that because we're going to be here all day. But we're almost there. We're at 19, so we've got 10 more to go after this one. So this is the one that I have kept saying that I was going to circle back to again and again, or I'm not going to dive into it because I'm going to speak more about it when I get to it. This is the one, 19. You take you with you. So this can be a hard truth to hear, but happiness isn't at the destination. And we've all fucking been there. When I get the car, when I get the house, when I get the job, when I get this, when I have the money, when I have X, Y, Z, insert narrative, then I'll be happy. No, it doesn't work like that, unfortunately, because you take you with you. You are still the same person, even when you get to, if you get to that destination. So the external things, the car, the handbag, the clothes, the house, the partner, doesn't change you. You need to change internally to shift and reflect and have that internal freedom that you're chasing, because it doesn't come from external to you, it comes from internally. So happiness is not at the destination. It's the biggest fucking lie that we've all been told in society, in life, in life, and it is about finding joy in the journey. Stop moving the goalposts and start enjoying your life now. Coming back to that embodiment before that I was talking about before, because otherwise you will spend your whole life always chasing and never arriving. You can find happiness within the here and now, because it's not going to come when you get to X goal. Again, the journey, it's the journey and doing the healing and finding enjoyment in the process. And the internal work that I do with my clients, that is what allows you to achieve happiness now, because it is not going to come at the destination if you have not done the internal and inner work. So that's a huge one. That is a huge, huge one. And like, I even remember, like, after I bought my dream car, after me and my partner bought our first house, which is the house that we're still in at the moment, I remember like getting there and being like, I thought I would get here and be so much more happy and fulfilled. Not that I wasn't, but like there was still, I guess, a lot of programming and things that were keeping me small, holding me back from, I guess, that true internal freedom. But it is not the external things that bring us happiness, because you take you with you. Number 20. I've said this one a million times through this episode, so I'm going to skim past this one. But your internal world is a mirror to your external world. When you do the inner work, you create the shifts that you have been chasing for externally. Literally a mirror. What you believe in your internal world, and even your thoughts, the stories you tell yourself, the narratives, your subconscious programs, which, by the way, you're probably not even aware of what these beliefs and programs that are driving 96% of your life are. But when you work on that and bring the unconscious conscious, overcome limiting beliefs and reprogram your subconscious mind, that is when it'll mirror out into your external world, and you'll see the changes that you've been chasing for in every other method. And that is why the work that I do with my clients is so fucking profound and transformational. Because the 96%, the subconscious mind that's sitting in the driver's seat, like I said before, it starts to have the, let's say, directions, or we've input into the GPS system the destination that you actually desire, and we've aligned the routes or the routes, whatever the fuck you call that word, with your beliefs that do support that destination, so that you can actually have your subconscious mind on board with the life that you desire to live. So yeah, that's 20. 22. No, I skipped one. 21. Just like you are what you eat, you also are what you tell yourself. Working on your mindset will hands down change your fucking life. It has for me, it will for you, it has for all of my clients, and it will for you. I'm not going to expand on that more because I feel like I've made that pretty clear throughout this episode. But what you are, what you tell yourself. And like I said before, going back to the last episode, 25, around your self-talk, thoughts, stories, narratives, etc., shaping your reality, and directly influencing how you live your life and the results that you have in your life is, yeah, go back and listen to that episode because you'll understand more about the science behind this and how it actually shapes our reality. 22. Boundaries are not walls. Like when you think about boundaries, you think of like, I feel like you feel like boundaries like a fence line or something like that. But it's not a fence line. It's not a wall. It's not some kind of barrier. They are bridges to deeper self-respect and self-love, because you cannot pour from an empty cup or a cup from holes in it. Because if your cup's got holes in it, it's going to keep coming out the holes of the cups. You're not filling your cup. And boundaries, when you learn to set boundaries, it also teaches other people how to respect you. Because again, your internal world is a mirror to your external world. So when you set boundaries in whatever way that looks like, whether it's in relation to people pleasing, habits, work-life balance, friends, partners, dating, whatever area of life it is that you're setting boundaries, it's the internal world, it reflects the external world. So it mirrors how people also respect your boundaries. And if you have like low self-worth and you don't, and if you do have low self-worth, high chances that you probably don't have boundaries in place. But it also reflects how other people are going to treat you as well. Because if you don't give those boundaries and that self-respect and self-love to yourself, it's not going to come externally either. Because what shows up in the mirror when you actually look in an actual mirror is the reflection. So it's going to reflect out in your external world. I feel like I've said that 500 times this episode, but it is so profound. And I feel like it's shit that should be taught in fucking school, and it's not. And hopefully one day the world changes, and it is, because it will literally like change humanity and everyone's life, literally. So that's 22. Number 23, and this one was a big burnout lesson, like huge. Self-care is truly giving the world the best of you and not what's left of you. Because, I actually just realized that I was looking at the wrong one before. But what I was going to say for this one is you can't pour from an empty cup or a cup with holes in it. Because, yeah, that was a big burnout lesson. I did not do any form of self-care other than exercise. I was exercising, I'll give myself that. But that was actually not the type of self-care that was supporting me in that season, because my nervous system was already in a highly stressed state, unregulated, disconnected from self, exhausted, all of the things. So exercise was actually stimulating me more and was actually not the kind of self-care I needed at that point in my life. So yeah, self-care is giving the world the best of you and not what's left of you. You cannot, if you do not prioritize yourself and give to yourself and fill your own cup, you cannot give to those around you. Whether it's your partner, your husband, your friends, your family, your sisters, your brothers, your kids, your whatever it is, you cannot give to others if you do not give to yourself. And self-care is not selfish. It is self-love and self-respect. And you need to love yourself enough to honor those boundaries and kind of going back to 22. Like, you need to love yourself enough to set the boundaries. And then you need to love yourself enough to prioritize yourself. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. And honestly, this is probably the biggest thing that's had the hugest impact on my life, is prioritizing myself and doing things for myself. It allows you to show up in a whole different way. So that is 2023. Where the fuck was I going with that? It's Monday and my brain's not working. That was number 23 is what I meant to say. 24. You are the creator of your life. You are. No one else. You are. And you can literally dream into existence. You can literally do anything that you put your mind to. And a little bit of science behind this, because, you know, I love science and all shit mindset. Your brain does not know the difference between real life and imagined. So every time you visualize it, and key step here, feel into the emotions that future desired experience would bring you. When you feel into those emotions now, you are creating new neural networks in your brain and literally priming your brain towards your desired reality and like collapsing timelines and drawing that future experience to you, aka manifestation. So visualization is so powerful. You are the creator of your life. You can literally dream into existence. When you are a frequency, a vibrational match for your desires, that is when your desires will show up in your life. If you have a belief that you don't believe in yourself, like you have a lack of self-belief, and you have a goal that is a requirement to believe in yourself, to put yourself out there, to go for the job opportunity, to speak on a stage, to whatever it might be, if you don't believe in yourself, that is not going to manifest that goal into reality. You must align your mindset with your goals. That is when you'll manifest them into existence. So do not underestimate the power of visualization and feeling into those elevated emotion that future experience would bring, because that will allow you to attract it into your life. And of course, in the process of visualizing, what was I going to say there? I completely just went out of my brain. In the process of visualizing, you literally just prime your brain towards your desired reality. 25. You've probably heard me say this one on the podcast before if you're a regular listener around here, but where your attention goes, your energy flows. So start focusing on what you actually say you want. What you focus on expands. So even just like take a moment to just reflect on your life right now. What are the things that you're focusing on? Are you focusing on the lack of something that you have in your life? So maybe the lack of connection, the lack of friendships, the lack of relationships. Let's just use that as an example. The more that you, like where your attention goes, your energy flows. So the more that you focus on that, that's going to expand. It's going to create more of that in your external reality. But when you start focusing on what it is that you do desire instead of what you don't desire, so you focus on the connections that you do have, the relationships and the friendships that you do have, the, evidence of those connections, and you start seeing it, like the more that you start to see it, the more that you'll see it. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. When you focus on those connections, relationships, and friendships, relationships, connections, whatever it is, when you focus more on that, that's when it's going to start showing up in your reality. You're aligning your intention, your intention with your desire, and you'll start to see evidence of it everywhere. This is the work of your reticular activating system in your brain. It's your brain's filtration system. You probably maybe heard me talk about this on the podcast before. If you haven't, head over to my socials. I am currently doing a mindset method hacks series where I share quick and practical ways to essentially prime your brain towards your desired realities. I'm sharing these mindset hacks every week over on my Instagram and Facebook. So if you don't already follow me on socials at Sk Bodyworks, make sure you go to the show notes right now and click on the link and click follow, and you'll learn a little bit more about these small hacks so you can literally prime your brain towards your desired reality. So that's number 25. And the more you start to see it, the more that you start to see it. So the more that you focus on, even using an example of like positive things in your life and negative things in your life, the more that you focus on the negative things, the more that is going to basically be filtered into your brain and into your reality. So the more that you're going to see those negative things, right? Straight away, your brain's going to find something negative as soon as it happens, right? Whereas the more if you direct your attention and your energy towards the positives, the more that you do that through repetition, it's going to retrain your brain to start finding more of the positives. And the more you see it, the more you'll start to see it. Number 26. We're almost there. This episode has gone for longer than I had thought because I've mumbled on the different lessons. But I hope it's been so valuable for you today. Number 26. Peace is not on the other side of your to-do list or on the other side of productivity. It is something that you embody right now. It's not in the finish line. It's in the presence in front of you that you are robbing yourself of right now. Whew, this one was a hard lesson. This is a hard lesson. And I feel like, again, it's like the whole idea of like you take you with you. On the other side of your to-do list or productivity or doing whatever it is that you're setting out for yourself, peace is not on the other side of that, because when you get there, you're still the same internally as you were when you set that goal. So if you want peace in your life, whether it's inner peace, whether it's just peace and calm and feeling relaxed and content, if you want that in your life, you must embody that now. Even in the smallest of pockets, especially if it's something that's completely non-existent in your life right now, you need to embody it now in smaller pockets, because it's in this presence where you will find what you're looking for. And by telling yourself I can rest and have peace when I finished my to-do list, when I finished this, when I finished that, you're going to keep moving the goalpost and you're always going to be chasing and never arriving. And by doing that, you are robbing yourself of the presence and peace that you desire. And that's a hard fucking pill to swallow. But one that has created huge ripple effects in my life and one that continues to. That one's huge. 27. Honor and embrace your body's natural rhythms and cycles. Because when you stop working against them, life starts to move with so much more ease, energy, and flow. Because I love the saying of, you can't change the waves, but you can learn to surf them. You can learn to surf them. And, as humans, we are literally, I always fuck this word up, but I think it's said cyclical beings. Like we operate in cycles, just like the moon does. As females, we menstruate and we literally operate in cycles. So when you stop working against them and resisting them, honestly, life opens up with so much more flow, ease, and energy. Because just imagining like the waves of the ocean, if you continue trying to fight the waves and the flow of the waves and you're going against it, it's creating resistance. It's making it so much fucking harder. You're using so much energy to do that. You're exhausted and you're still no further ahead. You just keep getting pushed back to the same place, right? Whereas when you can embrace and honor our body's natural rhythms and cycles, you can access so much more everything. Productivity, flow, ease, energy, all of the things. So when you start going with the flows of life and your body's natural flows, you are going to just tap into so much more ease. So that's number 27. We're almost there. 28. The deepest transformation happens when you stop striving to become more and you finally remember that you are already enough and whole exactly as you are. That one's huge. God, I could talk on this for hours. We're like at an hour of this episode now, so I'm not going to talk for hours on this, but transformation happens when you love yourself enough to do the work to change your reality. And the deepest transformation happens when you stop trying to prove yourself through external measures, come back to the worth that you already hold within you because you are worthy and whole exactly as you are. When you stop chasing that worth and find it within, is when you will create deep transformation. And that is also exactly the work that I do with my one-on-one mindset method clients. 29. I said that I was going to save the most potent for last, and this is without a doubt one of the biggest lessons. The greatest freedom is living life on your terms, not anyone else's terms, your terms. And I feel like that really comes back in with that alignment piece as well. And peace, success, and fulfillment are born when you stop outsourcing your worth, literally what I just said, and finally choose you every single fucking time. And I'm going to say this once fucking more in this podcast episode. Your internal world is a mirror to your external world. So when you choose you, other people are going to start choosing you as well. Mic drop moment. I was going to say drum roll, please. I don't know where that was going, but I'm going to say mic drop moment. I don't even know if that makes sense either, but let's just fucking go with that. So yeah, the greatest freedom is living a life on your terms, what you desire, what you want, showing up how you want to show up. And I truly believe like that creates the alignment. And like there is so much freedom, internal and external freedom that comes with that. And I did get really excited and needed to add in one more for good luck. And if you're a client of mine, or you have been a client of mine before, or you're in my community, you've definitely heard me say this one before. But small changes add up to big changes. Do not underestimate the power and importance and profound impacts that tiny shifts have. Because they might seem small and insignificant, but they ripple out and create massive impact and change in your life. Just like if you were to throw a little small tiny rock into a dam, if you were to throw that into the middle of the dam, even no matter the size, like obviously the bigger the rock, the bigger the impact and ripples, but the smaller the rock, it doesn't just impact that one area, it ripples out across the whole dam in waves, right? So the smallest of changes can make the biggest of changes, because when you stop trying to, get to the finish line and make that change overnight and change your whole lifestyle in a matter of 24 hours, when you stop trying to do that and you start focusing on the small, seemingly insignificant things, that's when you'll start moving the needle forward. And that is also where permanent change exists. When you learn to cement those small changes into your reality through repetition, you then make that your new normal, and then you build on that. You start making more changes, you cement that into your reality, you build on that. And that is the process of growth and permanent change and transformation. So if you're a client of mine and you've worked with me before, or you're in my world now, you will have definitely heard me say that one, and you're probably sick of me saying that. But the evidence for all of my clients is that when we stop getting them when we stop their sort of all or nothing mentality and their mindset of I have to do it all perfectly and have to do it now, when we shift that to start just taking the first small step, everything fucking changes and it creates ripple effects and huge momentum. So that is a big takeaway from the extra lesson I've added to today. And we'll actually go with that as 30 lessons, even though I'm 29 this year. My partner's 30 this week. So we'll add it as a good luck for him. So that is my 29 truths and lessons from my 29 years of existence. And I would love to know which one landed for you the most. So make sure you send me a DM on socials and let me know, because I want to hear. And I would also love to hear your biggest lesson from your own existence so far in this life. What's like the hugest takeaway from however many years you've been earthside on living in this lifetime for? I would love to hear what your biggest lesson is. I love this stuff. So DM me. I want to know. And if you resonated with this episode today and these truths and lessons, and you are feeling that whisper, that pull, that nudge, your soul calling, and if you feel you're ready to go deeper and do the inner work to transform your life on every fucking level, DM me mindset to find out more about Mindset Method. Mindset Method is my sacred one-on-one coaching container for deep life and mindset shifts, and it is where healing meets becoming. So you can finally step into the most expansive, highest version of yourself and release what's holding you back, what's no longer serving you, and what's keeping you stuck. Releasing that so you can rise into the version of you who you are supposed to be. And I did say to stick around until the end for a special offer. So if you have, thank you for sticking around. And as a belated, I think that's the right word to use, a belated birthday offer, and as a listener of the Gym and Tonic podcast, I am offering you 77% off the Sk Bodyworks app for your first month. I chose 77 because 7 is one of my favorite numbers. And so instead of the usual monthly price, which is $56 a month, which is literally less than the price of like 2 takeaway coffees a week, instead you'll only pay $12.88. So if you've been thinking about joining, now is the time. Stop waiting for the perfect time, because there is no perfect time. Remember, you take you with you, even when you get to the other side of chaos, because the other side of chaos is never probably going to come until you do the work internally. So now is a perfect time. So there is also, by joining the SK Bodyworks app, there's no lock-in contracts. You can cancel at any time. And I've slowly been working on a little bit of a rebrand of the Sk Bodyworks app behind the scenes. I've got so many exciting things coming for this space, and I use the word slowly because it has been slowly. But remember, slowing down speeds you up. And this app totally embodies everything that I am about. If you enjoy my content in socials and you follow me on socials and you get a lot out of my content, if you're on my email list and get a lot of value out of my emails, if you get value from this podcast, then you need to be a part of this community and on the Sk Bodyworks app. It is a home for all holistic health and self-development things, and it's truly for the woman who values feeling her best physically, mentally, and emotionally. And inside of this, I guess you could call it an all-in wellness space, like a one-stop shop. You'll find workouts. So there's 8 different workout programs in there, from gym to home ones. There's 100 plus nourishing recipes. Really can't talk today. There's community, there's mindset tools, there's meditations, there's breath work, there's yoga, there's challenges, there's education, there's even educational resources, there's journal prompts. There is so much more as well. And it is all designed to help you become the most highest and most empowered version of yourself. And this app gives you the tools and the resources to embody your healthiest, happiest, and most radiant self, and to walk you back home to yourself. So if you are feeling the pull, now is the time. There is so much value in this membership. Honestly, it's worth so fucking much more than $56 a month. But right now, if you use the coupon code or discount code, whatever you want to call it, 29 in letters, you can get 77% off your first month. So it's only $12.88 for 4 weeks of all of the value in the app. So I will put the sign up link and this coupon code in the show notes below. All you need to do is simply click on the sign up link. Obviously, make sure you enter that coupon code upon sign up, and then you will be a part of the community. And I cannot wait to welcome you in there. Of course, if you have any questions around the app, please send me a DM on socials, flick me an email, and I'm happy to chat through it. And yeah, that's all for today's episode. I hope you've enjoyed this solo episode today and the wisdom that I've experienced over my 28 years and 4 days of existence. And as always, if you have loved this episode today, please follow the podcast, share it with a friend who you think would benefit from it or a family member, and leave a review, because it would mean, and it does mean, the absolute world to me, and it helps me get into more ears of more women who need this work, who need this inspiration to create the change that they desire in this life. So it would be so appreciated. And until next time, beautiful souls, I am sending you so much love and so much gratitude. Bye for now.